be a formidable challenge. As far as current intelligence reveals, we only know that the Tiantang Consortium is poised to ally with the Lingyan family, yet their specific union partner remains a mystery. To underscore the gravity of the situation, Li Jiqing felt compelled to remind him, those who visit the Lingyan family will mostly be accompanied by a close-knit advisory team, rendering ordinary tactics of wits ineffective. Jiang Yuan replied calmly, since the situation has reached this point, we must accept this reality with composure. As for the matters of strategy, we shall face them as they come. Li Jiqing expressed her concerns, stating, the information regarding the Lingyan family is strictly confidential. We cannot obtain any intelligence and can only rely on your adaptability in the moment. Jiang Yuan smiled reassuringly. Rest assured, I will find a way to resolve this. After over an hour of detailed discussion with Jiang Yuan, the video conference officially concluded. Yao Wenwen and Xiao Yin, serving as Jiang Yuan's assistant secretaries, had quietly listened in on the meeting. They exchanged glances, clearly eager to discuss something, yet unsure how to begin. Jiang Yuan gestured for them to speak, saying, feel free to voice your thoughts. There is nothing to be concerned about here. Xiao Yin hesitated for a moment before stating, if we take Miss Li's words into account, it seems likely that this so-called Lingyan family recruitment is merely a formality, with the actual candidates already predetermined. Yao Wenwen concurred, adding, what a coincidence it is that the Lingyan family decides to collaborate with the Tiantang Consortium just as they embark on their periodic recruitment. Surely an agreement has been reached behind closed doors. Both women believed that this alleged recruitment had long been fixed. The alliance between the Tiantang Consortium and the Lingyan family appeared inevitable, unless some extraordinarily significant upheaval occurred, making it impossible to thwart these developments. After listening to the women's analysis, Jiang Yuan nodded in appreciation. Though your assessment holds merit, I still wish to give it a try, he replied with a smile. After all, I am quite eager to witness firsthand the formidable foundation of a family that instills such a profound sense of urgency among the 5 major consortia. Xiao Yin couldn't help but remind Mr. Jiang, the influence of these reclusive families is exceedingly formidable. It is rumored that many large enterprises in the market are, in fact, being covertly manipulated by them. Jiang Yuan shook his head and replied, in the past, I considered these merely as common street gossip, but now it appears there may be some truth to it. Just as the 3 were conversing, a knock resounded at the door. Yao Wenwen, perplexed, approached the door and opened it, revealing a pair of somewhat familiar twin sisters. She leaned toward Jiang Yuan and whispered, they're the ones who gifted us the computers. Representatives from the Fairbahar Consortium. Jiang Yuan nodded, acknowledging her words. The twin sisters introduced themselves. Greetings, Mr. Jiang. We are Qianwen and Qianling from the Fairbahar Consortium. Jiang Yuan responded, hello. Qianwen and Qianling exchanged glances and directly stated, Mr. Jiang, since you rescued an important figure from our consortium, it is only right that we come to express our gratitude. Jiang Yuan recalled that during the recent crisis on the World Island, he had indeed rescued a relative of the Fairbahar Consortium's leader. However, with so many individuals saved, he hadn't given it much thought. He smiled and said, I merely acted out of convenience. There is no need for such formality. Qianwen and Qianling shook their heads earnestly, stating, our leader has instructed us to express our profound gratitude, and he has sent us with something he believes will pique your interest. Jiang Yuan chuckled. Something that is guaranteed to capture my interest? Such confidence. The twins discerned the nuance in Jiang Yuan's tone, and a glimmer of excitement sparkled in their eyes. We bring intelligence regarding the Lingyan family, Qianwen and Qianling said, blinking playfully. Might you be interested? Jiang Yuan was somewhat taken aback and replied with a smile. It seems that the major marriage event soon to be undertaken by the Lingyan family has already reached your consortium, and you possess such intelligence. He was indeed surprised. Even Miss Li had not managed to grasp this information, yet it was known to the Fairbahar Consortium. Qianwen and Qianling giggled. Our leader has maintained a significant rapport with the Lingyan family due to an incident years ago, thus this information was relayed by an old acquaintance. They continued, this is exclusive intelligence from our consortium, and we hope you will not disclose it under any circumstances, as it would place us in a difficult position. Jiang Yuan assured them with a smile. Rest assured, I would never reveal your consortium's secrets. The twins then produced a small, pre-prepared encrypted box and presented it to Jiang Yuan. The box was not large and quite lightweight, yet its exterior was remarkably sturdy and resilient, seemingly impervious to even the slightest scratch. Mr. Jiang, this is a matter entrusted to you by our leader. The contents within are meant solely for your eyes, and the password is to be known only by you. Qianwen and Qianling spoke in unison. Jiang Yuan nodded, allowing the two women to whisper a sequence of numbers. A 13-character password composed of a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters. Mr. Jiang, the upcoming marriage selection by the Lingyan family will not only attract participants from the 5 major consortiums. Renowned young talents from across the globe will also vie for the opportunity. Qianwen and Qianling cautioned. The rivals you will face this time are all truly remarkable individuals. We hope the intelligence we provide proves useful, and we wish you a triumphant start. Chapter 498. A perilous journey. Jiang Yuan held a small cipher box in his hands. Its contents shrouded in mystery, and its weight surprisingly light. The twins, who had come to impart intelligence, exchanged polite pleasantries before taking their leave. As soon as they departed, Yao Wenwen's eyes sparkled with curiosity, urging, "Let us see what information lies within." However, Xiaoyan cautioned, "There's no need to rush. The members of the Fairbach Consortium may not be as benevolent as they seem. If this marriage proposal from the Lingyan family is truly of such significance, would he really divulge this information to us so easily?" Yao Wenwen replied in confusion, "But we saved him. This must be his way of repaying our kindness. There's no need to view them with suspicion." Xiaoyan shook her head, asserting, "The world is fraught with peril, and human hearts are inscrutable. There are countless instances of ingratitude, even after a favor is bestowed. One cannot afford to be overly trusting." Yao Wenwen continued to shake her head in disagreement, stating, "I believe there are more good people in the world. If you treat someone well, they will reciprocate. Gratitude should not be questioned." Jiang Yuan, amused by their spirited debate, interjected, "The intricacies of human nature are indeed complex. While we need not harbor excessive malice towards others, it is wise to remain vigilant." Yet, Yao Wenwen remained unconvinced, arguing, even if their intentions were malicious, they wouldn't tamper with the cipher box itself. If anything were to happen to us, it would be clear to everyone that they acted treacherously. Jiang Yuan chuckled. "I doubt they would risk placing explosives or poison within this box. Such overt actions would clearly expose them as ungrateful." Xiaoyan nodded in agreement, stating, "However, there are far more insidious ways to inflict harm than mere poison. Sometimes, a single piece of misleading information can plunge one into irreparable ruin." Yao Wenwen questioned, "Is it truly that dramatic?" Xiaoyan replied earnestly, "Any matter that involves hidden families is inherently perilous. These clandestine families usually reside in remote nations where the reach of law is tenuous at best. Should we inadvertently commit an unknown transgression under the influence of others, we may find ourselves subjected to grave injustices, possibly even threats to our lives." Yao Wenwen asked, puzzled, "How do you know all this?" Xiaoyan explained, "I have previously encountered a similar family due to certain circumstances, but the Lingyan family is on an entirely different scale. It is likely that their small nation has long since fallen under their sway." Jiang Yuan fell silent. If her predictions were accurate, this undertaking could prove to be the most perilous of his career thus far. The Lingyan family, with its immense power, typically chose to establish roots in regions where the law was weak and the authorities distant. In that realm, they had ascended to the status of emperors, impervious to the influence or interference of secular laws and powers. Should they be displeased, it was highly probable that they would resort to weapons unimaginable in peaceful nations. However, risk and reward have always been inextricably linked. Once one could reach into the realm of the Lingyan family, the benefits to be gained were almost patently clear. Moreover, with the Heavenly Consortium having already gained the upper hand, it was imperative for his faction to take corresponding actions. Otherwise, should the members of the Heavenly Consortium conjoin with the Lingyan family to annex one or two other factions, the repercussions could be exceedingly dire. Nevertheless, for the sake of safety, Jiang Yuan would undoubtedly undertake additional preparations, ensuring that he did not plunge himself into peril. While risk and reward may be proportional, it was also essential to minimize any avoidable risks. Jiang Yuan resolved, since others dared to venture forth, so too would he. Since others were inclined to divulge information to him, he was determined to ascertain the nature of such intelligence. Otherwise, to cower in fear, perpetually wary of wolves in front and tigers behind, would lead to naught but failure. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yin and Yao Wenwen exchanged knowing glances, instinctively excusing themselves. By this point, they had come to understand Jiang Yuan's mindset, recognizing that once he had made a decision, it was immutable. No amount of persuasion would sway his resolve. Furthermore, they did not perceive Jiang Yuan as a reckless individual devoid of cunning. He likely harbored his own considerations and strategies. After all, they were merely auxiliary helpers. with the ultimate authority resting solely with Jiang Yuan. Since the cipher box had been entrusted to him alone by the Ferbera Consortium, it was inappropriate for them to remain present. Once the room was devoid of anyone but Jiang Yuan, he input the code as the twin sisters had previously instructed him. With a crisp click, the contents of the cipher box gradually materialized. It was a sheet of paper akin to a resume for an interview, detailing basic information about a woman. However, it bore an oddity. Her name was concealed, accompanied only by an indistinct photograph that rendered her features nearly unrecognizable. Jiang Yuan scrutinized the simple dossier, and the details within elicited a sense of astonishment. The young woman was characterized by a fiery temperament, reminiscent of Hua Mulan, with a fiercely competitive nature that surpassed that of the average male. Her personal interests were startlingly revealed to encompass the study and use of firearms and artillery, items of formidable lethality. Jiang Yuan could not help but recall Sun Shangxiang, the wife of Liu Bei from the Three Kingdoms era. Sun Shangxiang was equally passionate about the most devastating weapons of her time, and Liu Bei had once been so intimidated by the weaponry in her chamber that he nearly wept. However, Sun Shangxiang hails from an era characterized by cold weaponry. While modern weaponry possesses a destructive power that is truly staggering, it is likely that anyone encountering a woman with such peculiar interests would feel an overwhelming sense of exasperation. Quite intriguing, indeed, that such a woman exists, Jiang Yuan remarked. Nonetheless, no matter how venomous a serpent may be, it cannot evade the nets of the serpent catchers. Likewise, even the most fiery steed can be tamed. This upcoming expedition to the engagement ceremony of the Lingyan family may also present the opportunity to encounter other possessors of the Junshu. To be honest, Jiang Yuan is currently exceedingly fascinated by the Junshu and is eager to uncover the contents of the remaining 3 volumes. Perhaps this journey to the Lingyan family will unravel the enigmas that dwell within his heart. Chapter 499, a joyous lottery under the weight of his significant responsibilities. Jiang Yuan promptly prepared to embark on his journey to the small nation of Arya, home to the Lingyan family. This diminutive, remote country, characterized by its peaceful disposition, remained largely untroubled by the outside world, due to travel restrictions imposed by neighboring countries. The only means of reaching Arya from the World Island was through a week-long maritime voyage. Li Jiqing had already arranged round-trip cruise tickets and secured the necessary visas for Jiang Yuan's passage through various nations. "We shall meet in Arya in half a month," Li Jiqing remarked. "There are still matters to attend to regarding the world banquet, including follow-up tasks. Once I have concluded these obligations, I will join you in Arya." Master Liu, who was supposed to accompany Jiang Yuan, turned pale upon learning of the journey to Arya. Arya? Such a place is exceedingly perilous. It is said that this small nation is under the control of a mysterious family, and the local laws hold no sway over them, he said, beads of cold sweat forming on his brow. If you find yourself in conflict with that family there, the dangers could be unfathomable. Jiang Yuan, are you truly set on going to such a place? Jiang Yuan replied calmly. Indeed, this trip is imperative. Hesitating, Master Liu suggested, perhaps we should part ways for the time being and meet in Arya. Curious, Jiang Yuan inquired. Why is that? Master Liu explained. I have had dealings with some of the elite families in Arya, but local regulations only permit me to be received personally. Jiang Yuan nodded in agreement. Very well. We shall convene in Arya. Master Liu was taken aback by Jiang Yuan's swift acquiescence, momentarily stunned. Are you not worried I might have second thoughts and simply leave? Jiang Yuan responded with a smile. Those with lofty ambitions place great importance on their reputation. Should you become a cowardly traitor, it would be a tremendous jest to the world, reducing you from a revered master to a laughingstock. I believe you would never allow such a thing to transpire. Master Liu paused, slightly taken aback. You are quite right. I could never act in such a manner. He scrutinized Jiang Yuan with newfound curiosity, as if seeing him for the first time, sensing subtle changes within him that he could not quite articulate. In truth, Jiang Yuan had been profoundly influenced by Junshu, which naturally contributed to his transformation. Human nature is marked by preferences, with individuals possessing distinct likes and dislikes. Varying personalities lead to diverse affinities and aversions. This understanding can serve as a strategy in dealing with others. Jiang Yuan was adept at discerning Master Liu's psychology. He recognized that individuals of renown, particularly those of advanced age, hold their reputation in the highest regard. Their greatest fear is the loss of face. Since Master Liu had pledged his word, he would undoubtedly refrain from betraying it and becoming a subject of ridicule. However, just before his departure, Jiang Yuan naturally did not forget that he could indulge in a plethora of lottery draws. After a period of accumulation, his system points had reached an astonishing level. He promptly summoned the system panel, exchanged his points for mystery boxes, and began a delightful series of 10 consecutive draws. Jiang Yuan's fingers glided gently, unveiling one mystery box after another, accompanied by waves of ordinary blue and white brilliance, while the balance in his personal account continued to swell. Reward. 1 million. Reward. 1 million. Reward. 1 million. Reward. 10 million. Yet, Jiang Yuan paid little heed to these azure and white rewards. Even the more commonplace golden rewards did not pique his interest. What captivated him were the rewards of dark gold quality. Indeed, he wondered if there existed rewards surpassing the dark gold tier, and what marvels they might entail. With anticipation swelling within him, he continued to unseal the mystery boxes, one after another, but the results yielded nothing but ordinary golden rewards. As the saying goes, saving a life is more meritorious than building a 7-story pagoda. Given that he had saved so many lives this time, it struck him as odd that he was not reaping rewards. Jiang Yuan found himself both amused and exasperated. Perhaps the notion that good deeds are rewarded was merely a self-soothing belief. While lost in thought, his hands remained restless, and the more he drew, the more he felt that his luck today was hardly remarkable. Despite having opened over 100 mystery boxes, not a single dark gold reward had emerged, let alone the coveted rewards beyond that tier. Fortunately, there was still a plethora of mystery boxes left. This 100 was merely the beginning. "I shall strike fiercely," Jiang Yuan declared through gritted teeth. This was absurd. He refused to believe that he could not obtain a reward today. The sensation of drawing cards without yielding a reward was best described as an insatiable craving for success. With each passing moment, his fingers moved faster, and his eyes began to redden. Just as he approached his 300th draw, he finally unveiled a dark gold reward. Upon seeing this prize, he could not help but be momentarily taken aback. "Congratulations! You have drawn a dark gold reward. Top-tier battleship. Zunlong 07 type, a battleship? A mobile fortress of supreme firepower sailing the seas." He had actually drawn such an item? Jiang Yuan's heart skipped several beats. Such vessels could only be manufactured by elite military enterprises of the world. How formidable would this battleship be, and where would it rank among the plethora of battleships globally? His curiosity intensified, and he immediately began to examine the specifications of the Zunlong 07 battleship. Upon reviewing the extensive list of features and capabilities, he suddenly felt as though he had been struck senseless by an angel of happiness. The exterior of the Zunlong is a departure from traditional protruding designs, embracing the world's most advanced wave-breaking hull configuration. This innovation is not merely aimed at reducing resistance to enhance speed and stability. More importantly, this design endows the battleship with formidable stealth capabilities. Even under the scrutiny of the most sophisticated radar systems available, there exists a significant likelihood of eluding detection. The utility of such invisibility is immense. Jiang Yuan clenched his fist. In a moment of necessity, it could provide a perfect opportunity to catch the adversary off guard. Truly a marvel of maritime engineering. Furthermore, the Zunlong is equipped with the MFR radar developed by Thor Industries, whose antenna beam coverage has reached the pinnacle of modern electronic scanning technology, ensuring that no vessel can evade its scrutiny. The combination of unparalleled stealth and the most advanced radar. Jiang Yuan pondered curiously. Could the most powerful radar detect the mightiest stealth battleship? Chapter 500. This child must not be left alive. The blood coursing through Jiang Yuan's veins surged with fervor. No man could resist the allure of such formidable machinery. It was simply awe-inspiring. Apart from its exceptional radar and stealth capabilities, what Jiang Yuan anticipated most was undoubtedly the arsenal aboard the Zunlong. Regardless of speed or concealment, nothing surpassed the sheer ferocity of firepower that could obliterate enemies on the spot. Upon meticulous inspection, Jiang Yuan discovered that the enclosed turret at the prow of the vessel housed 4 advanced 155mm artillery pieces, each equipped with a staggering 500 rounds, alongside an additional reserve of 100 rounds for automatic loading. Each turret was further outfitted with long-range guided cannons, boasting an astonishing range of 116 kilometers. What astounded Jiang Yuan the most was the presence of an electromagnetic cannon situated within the core of the ship. It became evident why the entire Zunlong was designed for pure electric power. It was to sustain the electromagnetic cannon. Once fired, the searing white beam could incinerate any adversary standing in its path. One shot from this weapon would likely leave no survivors. Jiang Yuan felt a dryness in his throat. This contraption was perilously powerful and should not be recklessly employed unless absolutely necessary. Gazing upon the Zunlong, Jiang Yuan felt an overwhelming sense of security. The best defense often lies in offense. Possessing the most formidable destructive capability instills fear in enemies, compelling them to reckon with you. As long as foes regard you with trepidation, even in the absence of defensive measures, one remains supremely safeguarded. Rubbing his hands together, Jiang Yuan felt fortunate to have drawn such a colossal mobile fortress of firepower from the sea. Would he be able to draw further rewards? However, having secured the Zunlong, he resolved to first teach the Paradise Consortium a lesson to deter their persistent meddling. After contemplating, he decided to retaliate against the Paradise Consortium before engaging in further draws. They had repeatedly positioned themselves as adversaries. They could not blame him for being ruthless. A chilling smile crept across Jiang Yuan's lips as he planned to impart a lesson so unforgettable to the consortium that they would come to understand who is truly untouchable. Mercy is reserved for friends. The approach towards enemies is singular. Attack, attack, and attack again. Coincidentally, at that very moment, the Paradise Consortium was clandestinely convening a video conference, the purpose of which was to strategize against Jiang Yuan. Deluan Si was also in attendance, his limbs rendered useless by Jiang Yuan's actions, leaving him in a state akin to that of a helpless invalid, reliant on constant care to manage even the most basic of daily functions. His resentment towards Jiang Yuan had escalated to a profound hatred, not only thwarting his medical agreements and branding him a vanquished foe, but also stripping him of his ability to manage his own life. This young man, named Jiang Yuan, truly possessed remarkable capabilities. One of the senior executives of the Paradise Consortium remarked, "If left unchecked, it is feared that greater losses will inevitably ensue in the future. Thus, it is prudent to address the matter expeditiously to avert any lingering repercussions." This senior executive, a venerable figure second only to the leader of the Heavenly Consortium, has a long-standing reputation for astute judgment and commands considerable respect within the organization. Others readily concurred, deeming this perspective both objective and reasonable. The individual known as Jiang Yuan cannot be permitted to remain. He must be eradicated. In his brief career, he has already achieved remarkable feats for the Li Consortium, and his name and deeds have become widely recognized among the affluent elite. Moreover, his youth signifies boundless potential. A mere youth in his 20s has already attained such status and renown, should he continue to evolve over the coming years. His burgeoning influence may render him exceedingly difficult to contend with. To delay action is to invite chaos, they reasoned. Jiang Yuan must be eliminated, lest our positions become precarious. If I am not mistaken, our impending alliance with the Ling and Consortium could be severely undermined if Jiang Yuan intervenes to sabotage our efforts, compelling us to seize an opportunity to eliminate him. Astonishingly, all perspectives aligned in agreement. Jiang Yuan must perish, or else the Heavenly Consortium will undoubtedly find itself in peril. The leader of the Heavenly Consortium, shrouded in the shadow of a virtual image, spoke with a calm yet chilling tone. An ancient saying from the Dragon Kingdom comes to mind. The fool is content with success, while the wise discern the signs before calamity strikes. This implies that the foolish remain oblivious even in triumph, while the astute perceive the subtleties of impending events and judiciously assess the situation. Thus, Jiang Yuan must be extinguished. The leader's voice, measured yet imbued with an icy resolve, left each listener feeling as though a bucket of cold water had been poured over them. They understood that the leader was indeed contemplating lethal action. Yet, some furrowed their brows and posed the question, while it is imperative to eliminate him, how can we do so without attracting suspicion? It was widely acknowledged that our rivalry with this young man is well known. If he were to suddenly perish, all would suspect our involvement. The members of the Heavenly Consortium, being merchants, are acutely aware of the value of credibility. Should competition among merchants resort to disreputable tactics, their integrity would undoubtedly suffer. After all, if one's business adversaries resort to murder, how can one guarantee that future conflicts of interest will not lead to similar actions against business partners? It is a consensus that Jiang Yuan must not be allowed to live. However, the pressing dilemma facing the Heavenly Consortium is how to orchestrate his discreet removal, or rather, how to fabricate a plausible accident that would allow Jiang Yuan to vanish from this world without a trace. At this juncture, the previously silent Deluan slowly interjected. My nephew is an executive at the largest arms manufacturing company in the world. I have already consulted him, and he can provide us with a special underwater stealth missile. This missile does not directly target the vessel itself. Rather, it generates a disaster akin to colossal waves crashing through a unique underwater airflow. If my conjecture is accurate, Jiang Yuan may indeed pay a visit to the Ling-In consortium. He is likely to obstruct our collaboration with the Ling-In family, and access to them can only be achieved via maritime navigation, presenting us with a prime opportunity to act. Navigating the seas inherently entails a certain degree of peril. Even the most skilled sailors may find themselves capsized by natural calamities, such as tornadoes or monstrous waves. Thus, should Jiang Yuan meet his demise in a maritime accident, it could easily be deemed a mere coincidence.